Hello and welcome to the preview show, and the first news from the preview show is that Mark Lambourne is away this weekend, holidaying with Easter with the family, so Aaron Macy has joined us. Hello Aaron.
How are we doing?
Yeah, reasonably well, and Matt, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We are sitting in the eastern suburbs of Sydney with this lovely backdrop of the blank wall, but the main thing about sitting in the eastern suburbs of Sydney is the drizzle sort of continues. So we are definitely going to be looking at a wet track at Randwick for the first day of the championships, otherwise known as Doncaster Derby Day.
What is the rating do you think we're looking at?
I think about a 6 or a 7, but it really does come down to what happens on Saturday. Varying forecasts are saying 20 to 40 mils. I did speak to Mark, who is, as we know, is the greatest weather judge in the world. He thought that was a little bit excessive, but 5 to 10. Really, if it rains at Randwick on race day after the rain that we've had in the lead-in, I don't know if it matters all that much whether it's 10 or 20 mils. I think we're playing on a track that is going to have a bit of give out of it. It's not going to be bottomless or anything like that, but it's...
But the horses that need hard tracks are out.
I think you're looking for wet track ticks, aren't you? You know, like you're not looking for absolute swimmers, but... you don't want horses that are hopeless in it, and you probably want some sort of. I think that'd be a help.
Yeah,
agreed. All right, lovely. Matthew, anything to add? What do we? We'll just get straight into it. Well, we should talk about how the track's going to play, and you would be shocked to know that our forecast is that it's going to be lanes on fire.
Yes, definitely.
Off the fence,
hard off fence.
Basically, at Randwick Rail True, the first metre or two is just diabolical. The next bit's not much good. Lane 8, 9 and 10, which is 8 to 10, 11 metres off the fence. That's where the winners will come from. Way out wide is where it's really fast, but rail true, you really can't get out there.
We do have the big fields though.
Yeah, but like they're not fields of 55 though.
That's
so like you're talking about 18 metres. So that would mean that Doncaster would have to spread and be 18 wide.
Is Nathan Thomas riding?
They might give the 8 emergencies a run.
Well, that's right. If the 8 emergencies get a run in the country championship final, we might see the outside lane.
And we haven't even got Jimmy to cut up the inside this week.
Oh, don't we? What a shame.
Really? Yeah,
no Jimmy?
Quickest way home up the fence.
Okay.
All right, lovely, perfect. All right, well, we'll get straight into it. That's the way that we're seeing it. So probably, what are we saying, about a 7 or something like that? It's
yeah, like it all depends Saturday morning.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It could get heavy, it could not.
And if it's that, and there is that difference of a track with water on it as opposed to what a normal slow is too. So yeah, it'll be messy.
You'll work it out.
Yeah, lovely, cool. All right, we start with it's a pretty good card, obviously, and a lot of money and energy has been thrown into it, so you'd hope so. The Kindergarten Stakes is the first race over 1100 metres. Furnace is about 2 to 1. Saboog $2.30. Red Zell next pick around about the $5 or $6 mark.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Saboog resuming about $2.50 was given into $2.35, but that's sort of just steady now. Red Zell $7 was taken into $5, and Furnace is just solid.
There it is. Okay. All right. Lovely. Pace-wise, what are we thinking? Red Zell went pretty quick at his first start.
But it was ridden cold in its trial, so it'll be quite an interesting one.
Lovely. But there is a bit going on for the lead. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised to see Furnace's lead. Red Zell could lead. Saboog could lead. Magic Diamond will try to kick up from the inside.
Regatta Rebel showed
and Regatta Rebel's Gay out wide. So yeah, there's a little bit going on in front.
Definitely.
All right, lovely. And okay, Aaron, lead us off for the first.
Well, I'm really interested in Saboog. I've been a big fan of it since its first trial. His first up run was with Vancouver. He went to let down and go past him, and then they said felt the track. He did look to not let down and went a little shin sore. We haven't seen him until just recently. He's had 2 strong trials, very impressive. If he lives up to the hype, I think he'll win this and win this very easily.
It has been the Spruik, one of the Spruik horses. Matt, are you with or against?
I'm against him at the price.
Yeah.
Now, you know, okay,
can I just? I think I might have been with you boys or in the summer show, but it seems that good trials get so overvalued in the marketplace.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
winning trials.
I wouldn't say he hasn't trialled like a bomb.
No, well, from our point of view, I have done all the stuff with Vince, is that he's looked very stylish in what he's done, but he hasn't run any numbers.
But
there's A, but there's no B.
Yeah, the reason why I'm going to lean to Furnaces is because of you just look at their form. So we've got that one run, you know, it seems like half a moon ago against Vancouver, and that wasn't...
There has been a few more moons than a half a moon, mate.
Sorry, 500,000 moons. you know, Vancouver then wasn't the same Vancouver
No, that's right.
now,
Exactly right.
and we just
Yeah.
don't have the evidence
Yeah.
to say Sabug has developed.
And it's such a good point. And like we see it so often, like, you know, you look back and say this horse beat this, but it's like saying, well, you know,
Yeah,
I
and
scored a
Wolf-
try against Brad Fittler
Look,
when he
and
was
Wolf,
playing schoolboy
Wolf
footy.
Cry
Who
was
cares?
Wolf Cry was a length behind it.
That's right. So Wolf Cry has proved itself now to be useless.
I think coming off his trials though, he does look to be a little bit more relaxed professional as he does in the strong.
He'll need to be, but like, yeah, he could win this. But with Furness's record and all the races that Furness
Up and running.
has been through, I think 1100 is probably his go.
Oh, definitely. 1100's a plus.
So look, I've easily got him on top. I'll be having 5 units on him, and look, plenty of respect. Well, actually, you don't really respect much. Like, you know, there's a long tail here. Tempt Me Not.
Tempt Me Not
comes
is an
back to
awful
11.
type,
It's a
which
fierce,
could well
a fierce going
yeah.
horse, which is why
And an awful
900
type, yeah.
was so good for it the other
900
day.
was his go.
Such a great horse that over raced.
It's probably the without seeing Sabug, I'm pretty sure wet track type. No, Furness is borderline. Red Zell I haven't seen yet. Tempt Me Not is a little runty, awful looking thing, and it's should handle the wet.
Yeah, so look, I'll have the 5 units on Furnaces, and the only wet track thing I have to go with was its trial against Paceman, resuming, and it was his best trial.
Okay, fair enough. Good.
So
Well, type wise, you say Furness is a borderline, isn't it?
Furness, no, he kind of looks like he wouldn't.
Mate, yeah, borderline wavering. Borderline the other way. Sabug's no on type.
He's now 4th up, second prep.
Yeah,
we've seen a few of these O'Shea 2-year-olds dominating earlier.
Say bye-bye. Yeah.
And it could be say bye-bye.
Yeah, it could be, but they've been saying bye-bye as the races get stronger. He probably comes back into an easier race though here. I mean, he's up and running. He paraded awfully in the slipper. It'll be it'd be very interesting to see how he parades there, because he has got a couple of lengths in it. For mine, I've got Furnaces on top as well too, Matt. I'm going to have 4 units on Furnaces, and the alternative form is Red Zell. Red Zell smashed it at Warwick Farm. His numbers started-wise was the second best of the day. Warwick Farm can be a hard track to get a real. It does return some data you really can't trust, but the one thing that we always try to look for is where they're ranked, and for a 2-year-old to rank second for the day is pretty good. So by Snitzel, I haven't seen what the type of horse he is, but I'm going to have 3 units on Red Zell and 4 units on Furnaces, and I'm posing Sabug. Just on and it is being ridden by Tommy Berry, who. It should be a horse that suits him, because he should sit off pace, but then again, if he leads, throw your ticket in the bin. What we should mention about the track is going to be very, very hard to lead a win.
I'm going 10 units of Boog. I think if this right handles the track, he'll blow their heads off.
Oh, well,
I'm saying 2, and then 2 units Red Zell, and 2 units Meteor and Miss. Expensive young little filly, trolled okay, hit the line nice, bred to handle the going.
Anthony Cummings first up at the moment?
Yep.
Okay.
It is 30-1.
Okay, fair enough, cool. All right, lovely. All right, before we move into race number 2, Matt, we have plenty of packages to go with the carnival. The carnival, which we are acknowledging is 3 days at Randwick.
3-day Randwick Carnival, yeah. So the RSPs have joined the 3-day.
3-day, 149 for the 3. Yep.
Darren Potter is doing Randwick.
Darren's now, of course, with Mark being away now. We've got Monday too. I'm not sure what ones Darren's doing, but he'll be either doing Melbourne or Sydney.
Nice little card there.
On Mondays? Yeah, nice.
Excellent little card.
So we've got Darren's. You can get Darren's stuff for the whole carnival, but you've got to buy it as a package now. But you can buy Darren's stuff 1 out for tomorrow, or Saturday, whatever it is. Yeah, but if you want, we have put up something. You can get Darren's stuff 1 out for the Sydney Carnival for 149.
Yeah, and the last one. The 3-day package is the Mounting Yard Mail.
Yeah, of course, which is 85.
The Glenstar, 85, The Glenstar, man of the match, maybe consecutive weeks now.
Lovely, cool. And look, I mean, this is a day that I suppose that we're always. I mean, it's probably the best race day in Sydney for the year, and it's a day we normally really go well. Back to Randwick, different horses. We glean with the Mounting Yard Mail now with a little bit give out of the ground. This is going to be when you just heard us talk about wet track types in the first. This is going to be absolutely sensational for the Glenstar too. So plenty there, whether it's Mounting Yard Mail, Race Speed Profiles or Darren, package them up, 149. Plus you get the Mad Bookie bonus too, mate.
Yeah, they're giving a $75 rebate if you grab any of our
Any of those 2 packages, perfect.
And
Why not? So
it's only for new customers only.
Okay,
so
beautiful.
Not
All right.
doubling up this week.
All right, lovely, perfect. That's Mad Bookie. Thank you very much. All right, race 2 is the Carbine Club Stakes, and just coming here, getting in the lift, I have just been texted by our good mate Nick Ashman that Kermadec won't run in the Carbine Club Stakes.
Okay.
No, they're gonna. If he doesn't get a run into Doncaster, they're gonna save it for the following week.
Okay, cool.
So
Is that
we'll
the Queen Elizabeth or?
Nah, I think it's another race.
Another 3-year-old race.
3-year-old.
But basically, look, so that's going to change.
It's not well placed in this race.
My moral lift here kind of just goes out the window there.
So yeah, look,
there's not another 3-yard race we can think of, mate. How could it be better placed in a race than this?
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
what the plan
all right, okay, cool. Well, okay. First and foremost, Matt, what? Well, I suppose betting.
There wasn't much movement because of both the Sweynesse and Kermadec, obviously emergencies in the Doncaster, plus Kermadec is not going to run, which at $2.20 is just
it makes a bit of a difference.
So no movement.
All right, so that'd see Sweynesse about probably evens-ish, and Washington Heights, what about $5?
Yeah.
High World will come into about $7 or something like that, along those lines.
Until you see the actual field.
That's right.
It'd be great if.
Well, because Sweynesse is a chance of getting in the Doncaster.
Yeah, Matt, with Sweynesse out, it makes for an interesting race. If both of them are 1 and 2.
Yeah, all right, lovely. Well, pace-wise, what do we think? Well, as Farrellitos comes across, the Para probably tries to kick up, and
Inauguration can go forward.
Farrellitos probably. Yeah. Dom and Valoros will be sort of there somewhere in the mix.
As well.
High World could. Yeah, exactly right. I wouldn't be surprised to see Washington Heights be a little bit more. But I don't think Brenton's rode Washington. I don't think Brenton's got on with Washington Heights. Does that make sense?
That was funny. We'll talk about him, but funny race last time. Just
I think
1100, 1200, and now the mile. So what are we thinking as punters? Is it? Was it a miler all along? Is it a desperation play? I don't know.
You got to kind of excuse his run because he's a young horse that got absolutely poleaxed.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
you do have to.
We think he did, but you couldn't really see the vision properly. But we believe he got poleaxed. But exactly. But anyway. So not much betting. Kermadec out. Where are you going, Matt? You might as well lead up. Aaron led up last time.
I'm not. I'll be really exciting and saying I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Washington Heights, I'm not sure what to make of him after that. Up to the mile is probably going to be okay.
I think he looks like a miler, but 12 to 1600 Rose Hill to Ramwick, and Ramwick bearing its teeth. That's why I said leaders won't be.
High World has a nice run to Kermadec. Going back through the spring, and it was very impressive at Warwick Farm and on a heavy, so you can't argue with his credentials.
Kind of looks like a bit of a Queensland Derby horse, so you think he'll definitely stay there.
Yeah, and Swan to Silence, Bryce might get lucky here with the top 2 coming out.
Zach on it, he's a backable jockey.
By Keeper, I think it's by Keeper, absolute swimmer. Been doing some great things, outclassed. This might be its race.
Well, exactly. I mean, when you remove Kermadec,
remove those 3-4 lengths he's been beaten by, which they're not here.
You remove that out of it, and then potentially removing Sweynesse out of it, and it's definitely not a Group 3 race.
It's a highly winnable race.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, respect for a couple of his other Inauguration seems strange placement first up in a mile, but horse has ability. But how can you bet right now?
Well, the one thing we've just spoken about a lot, we haven't really even mentioned Sweynesse. What did we? I mean, I thought it was a moral last start. Then you start hearing in the betting, or when you see it in the betting when it went straight out that rumours about things might not be right. And then it couldn't pick its feet up the last 200 metres. How do we assess this horse?
You've got to have him on top, going back to his mile second to Hello Crown, but he was pretty poor for mine last start. A horse that's maybe not 100% right, so I wouldn't be taking the shorts about him.
I couldn't take the shorts, but I mean on ability.
You wouldn't want to bet heavily against him.
It's very hard. Well, put it this way, if the best Sweynesse turns up, it's absolutely game over by 3. But I just thought Kermadec was a moral in the race, and unfortunately. That's not going to happen.
Be there,
okay, cool.
I've got nothing else to say on the matter.
Yeah, lovely. No bet?
No bet.
No bet?
You can't bet at the moment.
I'm done there as well too. Moving along, okay, we mentioned Mounting Yard Mile, we mentioned race, we covered a lot of things.
Yeah, we did.
Just about the Spruik's done. Melbourne is on. Caulfield, back to Caulfield. Good to get back out of the provincial stuff. And Caulfield's a really good card, including the cleaner on it actually in the Easter Cup. But this is actually normally a very good support meeting at Caulfield.
Is the cleaner back?
The cleaner wasn't too bad. Yeah, he smashed it up the other day. Yeah. He went about 1,000,000 miles above average as he would normally.
Xenon gas?
What about it? What you heard the Xenon gas first at, boys?
Yeah.
Didn't take them long, eh? There it is. Beautiful.
Right.
Anyway, so Melbourne, we've got Mounting Yard Mail, of course, with Warren Huntley at Caulfield. We've got the race speed profiles in full for Caulfield, and we've got Darren Potter's full Melbourne set. So there's plenty happening. While we're focusing on the championships, there's everything happening at a Melbourne, and it is a really, really good card, support card, good betting card. So jump on board with all of those, and hopefully back winners all across Australia. Tomorrow, being Saturday. Race 3 is the Sweps Chairman's Handicap. And it is about $5 disclaimer, $4.20 Scratchy Bottom, $3.80 the favourite Grand Marshal, and Scratchy Bottom's about $4.20, and Rising Romance, of course, was the early scratching.
Yeah, and Martin Vast as well. So look, hasn't been a race of great betting at this point, especially with the even money horse or whatever it was, Rising Romance coming out. So once again, not too much action.
All right.
Dallas, you can lead off.
I'll lead off. Okay. Great. One of my least favourite races of the day. Okay. Like everything.
Permit probably comes out with wet.
I think Permit is out. Yes. Okay. Permit is out. Yes, Permit's out.
Right.
Permit is out. Okay, which is good. It's 2 people actually said to me, Permit should be barred from racing. Well, seriously.
Inconsistency.
It's just awful, isn't it? Anyway. Okay. My thoughts are. So John Hawkwood is the horse that I'm most interested in. The 2 things I suppose you want to be looking for in this race is that wet track tick and 2,600 metres. Off his overseas form, he passes. He doesn't pass it with flying colours, but it's acceptable.
He's only a very little wet track type.
Yeah. So, his numbers overseas don't suggest he loves it, but they don't suggest he hates it. So he gets through it. If he can produce what he did at Caulfield 2 runs ago on the Peter Moody day, where a lot of horses jumped out of their skin, he would win this by 3 or 4 lengths. I think that was just such a big run. Then obviously he went to Canberra and
had a flat run.
Yeah, that was a little bit too quick. Too quick on the back up.
It was a hard track that day. Hard.
And he was still very, very well backed. I mean, what was he? What about $4.50 into?
They were taking $2.28 share at jump time.
So the right signs were there that Caulfield the Caulfield form might be still with him. I think. As I said, if he goes anywhere near that Caulfield run, he wins this race. So I'm 3 units on Sir John Hawkwood. Grand Marshal does have the big tick of wet track, does have the big tick of distance, but this race doesn't look like being run all that quickly.
What about the big tick of Jay Cassidy off?
Jay Cassidy, that's a little
little tick.
Little tick, yeah. It is a huge tick, isn't it? It's massive, isn't it?
It's a monster.
But he would prefer a faster run race. Should have mentioned the pace. Now Permit's out, so it's just going to be, what are we saying? Frasers and Queenstown just going as slow as they feel like, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And Frasers has been getting slower progressively as he gets deeper in drip.
Disclaimer can sit a little bit closer.
Probably he's probably next, but it doesn't look. I think Grand Marshal would be best suited if it was a faster run race. There's a John Hawkwood who may not quite well be suited at 2,600.
Yeah.
If the pace is forecast as that suits that. So I'm 3 units Sir John Hawkwood, 1 unit Grand Marshal, and 1 unit Frasers, who continues to race in career best form. Bad rider in Cathy on it, obviously, but again, $13 about or thereabouts. It seems. So he's going to be there, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always
Wet track, yes. Distance, yes. Fitness, yes. Form. Yes.
Tactical ride over 2,600, not so much.
No.
Yeah. That's where I found a little bit of a query.
Yeah, but I mean, like $13 is worth a unit on a side because he'll be there.
Certainly. I'm going with 5 units disclaimer.
Yep.
I think he just looks like he's set the peak 5th up. He's just slowly been building in each run. I like the way he hit the line behind Pornichet, which I'd say is a far superior race to this. I think you can box seat, as we said, behind what looks an average tempo, and Sam can kind of just jump off and get going. I agree with the whole Sir John Hawkwood. I'll have 2 units Sir John Hawkwood and 2 units Grand Marshal for all the reasons you spoke about.
Okay, and should mention Grand Marshal has been very well backed in races. It looks like it's been one of probably the most staggering betting plays over the last couple of weeks. Over the carnival.
Over his last 3 starts.
Well, these last 3 starts, he's been quite well backed.
Yeah, like he's opened up. He's opened up in the early betting on course short, and then he's shortened. Anyway,
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that's all about. But anyway.
Yeah.
Matt.
Look, I'm not a great fan of this race, but I will go one a little bit wide. He has no wet track form, which is onerous. I like the way it's building into its races, and he got the 2400, and he finished right next to Grand Marshal last start, and one of them's $4, the other's is $17. His wet track record reading of the form is 7 starts for nothing.
He is a horse that David Payne tends to scratch on a wet track.
Yeah,
you might get a result here regardless.
Going back to its last run through Caulfield, the Noble Protector contributor race had 57 that day, carried more than those 2 quality horses, was right on their tail. Vital Time held up, and I think last week Vital Time held up in the permit race. So it's $17. I'm going to have 2 units on it.
Hard to argue. It is. I mean, like it's hard to make a case for Honorius in any situation, but it's hard to argue against it. I mean, the Sydney Cup lead up, which the chairman's handicap was, but I don't know if any of these are going to be worrying Hartnell or Protectionist or Who Shot the Barman, are they? Anyway, beautiful. Moving along to the Country Championship final.
Exciting little race.
I'm just praying the playing game gets a run. I'm hanging out for playing game to get
horse
a run.
number 24, is it?
Yeah,
there it is. Look, from a betting point of view, not too much action because the markets have been open forever.
Because it's a race that doesn't belong on it.
We'll have a quick chat about the race now. There's one I'm pulling its tail, but anyway. I'll tell you, you'll enjoy it.
Taryn Gower. Yes.
Country battlers.
At least the race has only been invented for 200,000 this year, not 4 billion.
So, would you say Karma, being a horse that doesn't like the wet track, could Karma just be the rain that's consistently full?
It doesn't really matter at the end of it, no.
I'd like to see one of the little battlers win it.
Anyway,
it'd be great to see Greg Ryan win it.
Glenn.
Bits and pieces of money around. Aaron, you want to go through the race? You've probably done it. Tell us if you've looked at it.
I have done it and don't mind the race. I actually quite like Voodoo Lad as a horse. I think if he wasn't sent for this race, he'd be a city class horse winning Saturday races. I think he's got the class edge above the majority of the field, and I like his lead-up races.
Are you putting in a protest the use of the word class in the country championship?
Oh, yeah. No, I just wasn't listening.
Yeah. So, I'd like to say he's the class horse of the field.
Yeah.
Jay McDonald.
Jay McDonald's a huge class. Robert Thompson's been riding him well, but I think James McDonald is a huge class. He's drawn well. The 1400.
There are some great riding changes here on this card. Huge. It's one of the great things about this card.
His last run at the 1400 was strong. I think he'll handle the track, and I think he could, with James McDonald, can even see him taking a slight box seating. I'm having 3 units Voodoo Lad, 2 units Art Lee, who has the form round Voodoo Lad from 2 starts back and was very impressive winning last start, and 1 unit Wings if it gets I think it's third emergency, if it gets a start.
I hope it does, because that means the playing game's getting closer.
Yeah, it's a dead set mudlark.
All right, lovely. You have actually, we've done with the race speed profiles is at most and least advantage. 2 of those 3 you mentioned in Artley and Voodoo Lad are 2 of the 3 most advantage we mentioned, and I can't remember the next one.
Okay, yeah,
Could it be Loved Up? No.
I had question marks about Voodoo Lad leading or going.
Well, we haven't mentioned the pace. Look, this will be on. There's 5 or 6 horses that go forward. We've got a lot of country jockeys here. It's the country championships. It's got a bit of stuff to it. Our numbers are about 3 to 4 above, which means that it's game on. Anything above that, it really doesn't matter. It just means it's a fast-paced race. But we could be, seriously on.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll lead in this race. I really don't.
Yeah,
I
he'll
think
probably take
it. Not with
the
James McDonald.
Yeah.
Too smart. He's been set for the race.
Yep.
And if you go back through his runs, I believe it was 4 starts back, he actually took a sit. And Sconeham was rather impressive. Winning
I wouldn't want to be trying to lead him in this race.
No.
So, yeah, look, I'm just going to have, I have 2 units on Binalong Road. I like the way he's been progressing. He's been to town previously, obviously a bad injury. And, look, Hugh's been engaged ever since. I think Hugh went up to Mudgee and he's been all... So I'm just going to have 2 units on him. I just think it's going to be a race for a swooper. And hopefully Hugh can just park him back out wide. And yeah, I've got question marks over Voodoo Lad, who I think is probably at 14 or 13. I'd love him, but at 15, I think it's just stretching it a bit. But no real opinion.
All right, lovely, perfect. Done. Cool. Race 5 is the Dilmar T PJ Bell Stakes over 1,200 metres, and $4.65-ish Nayeli, $3.50 Peeping, and Pittsburgh Flyer is about $6, and Fine Mr. N about $10 note.
Right, so a little bit of action, out wide. I've seen Pittsburgh Flyer in a couple of points. At bigger odds, Miss Covergirl, Sultry Feeling, Fine Mist, and Matilda. They've been backed, which has just meant that Naeli and Peeping have eased slightly. So,
good.
Yeah, a bit of money.
I'm glad they have. Lovely.
Do you want to take
I just think, I've been against Peeping for the last few runs because she isn't much good. She's only a horse that's, basically, we call it about a +2 or +3 horse, which basically means you're borderline Saturday quality. But she keeps running up to her best. She keeps putting herself in the right position, and he just looks an absolute moral to be one by one. You would think, even if he's 2, 3 wide, he's perfect. He's going to be just stalking, bang, right in the right spot, should swing right into the lane. You would hope, even though I did come into this meeting wanting to back jockeys that I regard as backable jockeys, and Sam Clipperton's not really in that regard. There's about 4 or 5 of them riding on Saturday that you can do that with, or maybe half a dozen on Saturday. But anyway, he shouldn't be able to stuff that up. It should be okay. Peeping, and then Naeli did some pretty good things first up. It was, it's scary because it was such a big price. But I think if you're going to ignore an SP, you're going to ignore a lot of things. First up is the time to ignore a lot of things. And the way that it won, racing Peeping, if it was on the same sort of surface and the thing, you'd think, I'd be struggling to get Peeping to beat it. The problem is wet track. I think Peeping is well suited on it. I don't know if Naeli is. But what I am going to do is I'm going to spread 16 units between the 2 of them and Dutch book them. So whatever price it is will be determined on how much I have on it. But 16 units spent on the pair.
Right.
Do you want to go?
No, not really.
Okay.
And out of the Melbourne horses, I thought Matilda.
Yeah.
Matilda comes out of a race that ran really, really good numbers, but it was an absolute smasher. And the form looked shit out of it, but it might be shit because the horses, the fillies that ran in it just killed themselves, and they might have run too soon. And with about 5 weeks off.
It's had a good break between
them.
That's
actually a positive.
It's the horse I've got on top. I'm quite keen on it.
Yeah.
I think her 2 wins were super impressive. She had to come wide in the last start. I love the way she attacked the line.
Top 10 for the day of first up wins.
Was it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Gets a good rider change.
Which I'll have 1 unit on Matilda too.
1 unit on Matilda. I'm having 5 units on her. I think she's a very progressive type. She doesn't look overly big, so I'm hoping she does handle the wet.
Yeah.
Kind of bred to handle the wet as well. Gets the winkers on. I'm having 2 units on Sultry Feeling.
Adoro. They're normally
Red Ransom there. I'm going more to their side.
Okay.
Usually quite big.
They're chunky things.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going that hopefully she does handle it.
Listen to us talking about breeding. How cool is this? Should we go to wander down to England and inspect a few yearlings?
Caro. Where's Caro?
Yeah, really.
Why not?
Can we suck somebody's dick out there?
Well, now I've got to do some editing.
No, you don't have to do that.
Alright, I'm going to have 2 units Sultry Feeling. I thought her last run was a lot better. She's had 2 very, very average rides. Chad sticks aboard. Inside gate's a little query, but she does get the blinkers back on. I think she improves sharply with the blinkers on, and she does handle the wet. And I'll have 2 units. Pittsburgh Flyer. Was quite impressed with her win. Still looks progressive, and she does have form over the mile.
Looks a little interesting combo there. Lee and Shannon Hope and Joe Marrero. They're flying. And
They are
Joe
flying.
Marrero. Yeah,
I'm just a little bit against peeping in the fact of I thought she looked a little bit flat on the line at the 1200.
she's not much good.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I think she could be a little bit more tested. 1200 Randwick on a heavy track.
400.
Wet to, yeah.
But
Yeah.
she likes that.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you with Pittsburgh Fly just a little. I have 2 units there. I'm gonna have 2 units on. I have 2 units on Kindheart, whose form does tie in with Music Magnet.
We should mention that it's got the best wet track numbers from our stuff in the race.
Yeah,
Well, it's a little skinny looking.
Barrier 12. It's already raced on a heavy. Yeah, I've got no issues with it.
Yeah.
Shamadales generally get it. So there it is. Naeli
Comes off a course win, even though it's a midweek course win. But
yeah. I've just had a tiny little bit of reservation about peeping up to 12 or around with wet 12.
Yeah.
I think it's a real 1,000, 1,100 metre
Yep,
horse.
very cool.
We're in agreement.
And I also think, Naeli. I thought Naeli might be also a sprinter. So just going a little bit wide.
Very cool.
Those 2 horses.
Lovely. All right, lovely. There it is. That's race 5. That is part 1 of the previous show.